All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down one of the most critical questions you'll ever face in a Dean of Students interview. And trust me, if you get this one right, you're not just answering a question, you are defining your entire leadership philosophy. So let's dive into the playbook that's going to help you knock it out of the park.
Okay, picture this. You're in the interview, you're feeling good, you're ready, and then they hit you with this question. And make no mistake, this isn't a what if. They are going to ask you this. How you answer tells them everything about your approach to discipline, how you see student growth, and what kind of culture you're going to build. So how do you nail it?
So, the secret to an absolutely killer answer starts with one powerful shift in your thinking. Instead of seeing student conflict as just a fire you have to put out, the very best leaders see it as a classroom, a place where the most important learning actually happens.
Look, the strongest candidates get this. Kids are still figuring out how to handle big feelings, how to disagree without blowing up, and how to fix things when they go wrong. So your goal isn't just to stop the conflict. It's to use that moment to teach things like empathy, self-regulation, and accountability. You're not just solving a problem, you're teaching a curriculum.
And this really shows you the difference. The old way of doing things is all about control and consequences. Who's to blame and what's their punishment. But the new way, the approach that's going to get you hired, is all about growth and repair. It's a total mindset shift, from just writing referrals to actually teaching the skills that stop the next conflict before it even starts.
So imagine starting your answer with powerful, confident language like this. When you say something like that, you're immediately telling the interview panel, hey, I'm a strategic, student-centered leader, not just a by-the-book disciplinarian. It sets a totally different tone.
Okay, so having a great philosophy is one thing, but how does that actually look in practice? Let's translate that big idea into a practical, step-by-step playbook you can lay out in your interview. This shows them you don't just have ideas, you have a plan.
Phase 1 starts with a move that might sound surprising. You empower your team. A great dean doesn't try to solve every single problem themselves. Instead, you show that you trust your teachers. They're on the front lines, and they're your first and best line of support. Your job is to be their coach, not to take every single problem off their hands. That shows you're a leader who actually builds up the people around you.
And here's a really simple framework for how you can coach them. Anticipate, analyze, act. See, you're not just telling them what to do. You're asking really smart questions that help them see what's brewing, think through what they need, and plan their next steps. This is a clear, powerful coaching model you can describe right in your interview.
But of course, some conflicts are gonna land on your desk. And when they do, your role shifts from coach to lead investigator. The single biggest mistake you can make here is rushing to judgment. The most effective deans actually slow down to speed up. They make sure they have all the facts before they make a single move.
And your investigation has to be rock solid. You start with the teacher to get context. Then you talk to the students involved separately, and if you can, before they have a chance to get their story straight. You bring in witnesses carefully. Use objective tools like camera footage, and you ground every single decision in district policy. This shows you're systematic, you're fair, and you respect the process.
And listen, the investigation is just the beginning. The goal isn't just to figure out what happened, it's to create a really comprehensive plan. We're talking about 3 key things: accountability for actions, support to help the students move forward, and a plan to prevent this thing from happening all over again. This shows you're thinking 3 steps ahead.
Now, we all know that a conflict between 2 students is almost never just about those 2 students, right? A sophisticated leader gets that you're managing a whole ecosystem of people, parents, teachers, support staff, all while navigating the absolute chaos that technology can bring into the mix.
And you have to talk about social media. It is a total game changer. It takes a disagreement that used to happen in the hallway and turns it into a 24/7 public spectacle. It adds a layer of humiliation, it pulls in way more people, and it completely erases the line between what happens at school and what happens at home. A great answer shows you get this modern reality.
This right here shows you're a team player, a systems-level thinker. You're not trying to be the lone hero who swoops in and saves the day. No. You're building a support bench and pulling in the expertise of counselors, social workers, and everyone on your team to wrap around that student and find a real, lasting solution.
Now let's talk about parents. This is where you can show some real veteran wisdom by pointing out these common traps. Parents are usually coming from a place of love and fear for their kid. A great dean stays calm, communicates the facts clearly, holds firm boundaries, and makes decisions based on what's right for the students, not based on who's yelling the loudest.
And this is a mic drop moment in an interview. This statement shows you have clear professional boundaries. Your job is to handle conflict between students at school. It is absolutely not your job to solve a family feud that's been going on for years. Knowing where your responsibility ends is just as important as knowing where it begins.
Okay, so let's put it all together. The philosophy, the playbook, the stakeholder piece, let's weave it into one clear, confident, and seriously impressive interview answer. So the interviewer just asks the question. Take a deep breath. Here's how you could respond.
That's a fantastic question. My core philosophy is that I see student conflict as a teaching opportunity, not just a discipline issue. Because students are still developing these critical life skills, my approach is always going to be grounded in education and growth.
For those lower-level situations, I firmly believe teachers should run point whenever it's appropriate. My role there is to be a coach and a resource for them, helping them anticipate issues and think through what's happening. I want to build their skills, not have every minor issue end up in my office. Now, of course, when a conflict does escalate to my level, my role shifts. That's when I conduct a really careful and fair investigation to get all the facts, speaking to everyone involved and looking at all the information. From there, I build out a plan that hits on 3 key things: accountability for what happened, support for the students moving forward, and proactive steps to keep it from happening again.
Ultimately, my goal is always threefold: to ensure we have a safe learning environment, to foster real growth in our students, and to help build stronger conflict resolution skills across the entire student body over time. It's about solving the problem in front of me while strengthening our school culture for the long run.
Now, I know that's a lot to remember, especially when you're under pressure in an interview. So if you need a simple way to keep it all straight, just use this framework. TEACH. Teach through the conflict. Empower your teachers. Analyze the situation carefully. Communicate clearly and hold your professional boundaries. It's a really simple way to remember a very sophisticated approach.
And that really brings us to the final thought here. The goal isn't just to get through the next problem or even to just ace the next interview. It's to see every single challenge as an opportunity. So the question for you is, how will you use these moments, not just to solve a problem, but to actively build a more empathetic, a more resilient, and a more supportive school culture for everyone?